Hey everybody, how's it going? It is Dunbar Snack Bar. It's time for some MLB The Show 19 and Road to the Show with this guy as both the player and the dude who's playing it, Dunbar Snack Bar. Anyway, I created myself. There we go. That's probably a better way to explain it. So I've created myself for Road to the Show. That is what you're going to be seeing with the format where I play every single game, but I just condense it down into one episode per series. So the big thing about this episode, what I'm really excited for, is after a long time getting to do my favorite type of episodes, which are question and answers. At the beginning of the last episode, I asked for anybody who's watching to post a question in the comment section, and I will answer it. I also did the same thing with a post across the channel for people to also put in their questions, and I'll answer them. The reason why I love doing this so much is I think it gives you guys a great opportunity to get to know me a little bit more. And because of the amount of questions that I got in the length of the video, this will be a good opportunity for me to actually ask you guys questions in return. So please stay throughout the entire video, especially, kind of hang in there towards the end so I can get your guys' answers to some questions that I have too. I really want this to be a, two-way street. And this is a great opportunity for me too. So that being said, I'm going to apologize in advance for slaughtering people's names. That was always something I had a very hard time doing, and I also felt really bad because my real name can be difficult to pronounce, or at least there's different variations that people will say for my last name, and so I hate it when it happens to me. And therefore, I hate it more when I do it to somebody else. So again, I'm going to apologize in advance. Okay, so we're going to get to the video first. So the first question, my pet tiger, congratulations for being the first person to post in here. He said, I'm unoriginal with my question. What are your predictions for the MLB postseason? Who wins which division, etc.? Or which teams do you think are going to the World Series? Okay, so to be completely truthful with this, the answer to all of your questions is I don't know. Like, this is one of the things I think it's the biggest change in my life since, well, I shouldn't say one of, but I mean, it is a big change in my life since, I was back in my prime. That's what I'm kind of defining that era as. But I used to be able to follow baseball so much. Like, I had alerts on my phone. I would watch MLB TV. Like, I had the subscription for MLB TV. I would watch Intentional Talk. Like, I had it on DVR and just MLB Network. And I was able to really follow things. Unfortunately, I can't right now. Here's my life schedule. So I go to work every day. I work a 40-hour-a-week full-time job as an IT director. A lot of times I will work more than 40 hours a week. It all depends on what's going on.
Let's go.
And then when I come home, I've got 4 kids now and the wife, so I've got to try and spend time with them as much as possible. I know I don't always do the best job with it, but, I try. The other thing is I'm taking 2 college courses right now, so I'm trying to fit school in there. And then I'm also trying to manage 2, almost 3 YouTube channels right now. So, my life is super busy. I really wish I had time to be able to stop, take a break, just watch some baseball, relax. But unfortunately, I don't have time for that. So, to be honest, to answer your question, I don't know. But I'm gonna take a stab at it here, okay? So what I'm gonna do is I have it pulled up right here. So Yankees are in the AL East. Looks like they've clinched the division, so boom. That's my prediction right there. AL Central, this one's going to be kind of tough. I would like to see the Twins actually advance because I know, like, historically the Twins have been a team that, really hasn't been too successful. And I'm always the kind of person who enjoys seeing the underdog go. So I would like to see the Twins move on. Just because historically, again, you haven't seen the Twins in the postseason that much. AL West, while the Astros have clinched the wild card, I would love to see the A's move on. And so if the Astros clinch the division and the A's get the wild card, I'll be super happy. I will find time to watch those games if the A's make it. That would be super sweet. And I think that would be a great way to kind of get back into things too. National League, Braves on top of the NL East. They have Clinch the wild card spot at the very least. NL Central, Cards and Brewers are pretty close. I'm going to say Cards. And then Dodgers, Diamondbacks. Dodgers have clinched the division. Okay. So I would like to see the... It'll probably be either the Nationals or the Brewers or Cubs that make it to the wild card. I'd like to see, depending on how it all unfolds, I would personally like to see a Dodgers-Yankees World Series just because of the history there. But I'd also like to see the A's, obviously, in the World Series just because I love the A's. But that's not too realistic. All right, so hopefully that answers your question, my pet tiger. Sorry I couldn't be more well-versed in what's going on than that. But anyway. Delirious. I'm about to finally live on my own. Any tips or general advice? I would say find a hobby. If you don't have one already, find a hobby. I personally am the kind of person that I enjoy alone time. Like, I'm a pretty big introvert in real life, and so I recharge a lot. So I look back fondly. Not that I have anything against, obviously, living in a family, but I personally enjoyed living alone. I know not a lot of people do. I did. But, people having a hobby, something that gets them out of the house, is really, really great. For me, it was actually like gaming and YouTube and stuff like that when I had my own apartment and stuff that, was my hobby. So that would be a big thing for you. Also, if you are living out on your own and you are renting, you're going to, I think, enjoy that a lot more than if you've purchased a house or something. Just because home ownership just comes with a lot of stuff. Having a rental and you don't have to worry about a lot of stuff is really, really great. Just kind of make it your own. Make it your home, a place that you want to come back to, relax at. If you are the kind of person who likes to invite people over, just make sure that you also have stuff that's welcoming for others. This is getting probably way too deep, but I knew somebody who would love to invite people over, but he didn't have enough seats for people to sit in, so I'd sit on the floor and it hurt my back. It sucked, but make it your place, whether that's inviting others or a place for you to relax at, unwind. That's a really awesome point in your life, so I'm super excited for you. Rob, great job, man. Dude, Rob, if you're watching this, thank you so much for your positive comments. Just seeing you comment makes me super happy. And I don't think a lot of people really understand how motivating those types of comments are. So really, dude, thank you for that. I know you don't have a question on here, but I really wanted to point it out and say thank you. Really, man. Liam Christensen, these minor league names, man. Throwback to the Montgomery Biscuits. Yes. Dude. Oh, here's your question. What school do you go to? I go to the University of Nebraska. I'm studying management. I'm in my senior year. I've worked on a research paper this past summer where I was taking a look at some of the challenges that military leadership has, specifically looking at change and adaptive leadership that's needed to be able to meet the challenge of a great power struggle where the United States has to go up against China and Russia. It's really, really cool. I actually love doing it, and that would be something if I can still choose what I want to be when I grow up, doing that type of military research would be just absolutely amazing. So that was a cool opportunity for me. So management's great because leadership is defined in that area, but then also with my actual job as an IT director, I can kind of also use that same degree to grow in that area. So if I don't end up doing what I want to do, I've still got something that's advancing. So I go to the University of Nebraska. Surprise, surprise. Okay. Jatine Rao? See, this is what I mean, man. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name. Why were you gone for so long, and why did you leave so many of your series unfinished, like A's and Royals franchises? So I've hit on this in a few videos because I've had a couple attempts at trying to come back, but essentially what it was, and I feel like I should make a video about this specific topic, is the lack of replayability in sports games. So I was doing this so much. I was posting 3 videos a day. I'd stay up from, I'd get home from work at 11 o'clock at night, stay up till 6 o'clock in the morning making videos. It was basically like a full-time job, also on top of another full-time job that I was doing. And the problem was, and I know this is entirely on me now, I was not smart in how I was doing some things like, tags, descriptions, titles, all of that. And so I was seeing a decrease in growth, and it was getting kind of frustrating because in some areas I was even seeing a decrease in overall viewership. So I was putting all this time in, wasn't getting a reward for it, and frankly it wasn't fun anymore because it was the same thing over and over and over again. So I had to stop. I mean, I started playing Arma, and Arma was a game that has massive replayability, and it was a game that I enjoyed a lot, and so I found something in that game that I wasn't able to find in sports gaming, and I really grasped onto that. And I remember asking, some of my subscribers, who I was really close to and stuff, what they thought about me posting Arma. And I also did some research too about, if I'm going to do a complete change in direction as far as the channel goes, is it better for me to start a new channel, or is it good for me to just make the transition here? So I decided to start a new channel. I've never gotten away from YouTube. I've just kind of changed direction. So I have a channel called War's Hell, where I play Arma content, some DCS World, stuff like that. Games with a lot of replayability, and it's storytelling, which is the kind of stuff that I've just fallen in love with doing. And so knowing that was taking up a lot of time, I had to make the decision, am I going to go with a larger channel that I'm not having fun with at the time, or do I basically, do I keep going with this, or do I switch to what I'm enjoying doing? And I decided, because this has never been a job for me, this has always been about a hobby, and a hobby is supposed to be fun, I decided to make the switch over to War's Hell. So I left those series because they were not fun anymore. Now, coming back to this, right now, I am enjoying this, and I think it's because this is pretty fresh for me, and I'm not pushing myself as hard as I was before. Because remember, I was doing MLB The Show, Madden, NCAA football, NBA 2K, NHL, FIFA. I was trying to get the full suite of sports. But now if I focus on 2 or maybe even just one game, which, if I were to do one, it would be MLB The Show, I think I'm going to enjoy that a lot more. And I definitely want to make sure that I connect with you guys more, too. It's going to be a major focus that kind of keeps me around. So that's kind of why. But hopefully that helps. Understand that one. Dask, what was your childhood like? My childhood, it's very different looking at it as an adult from my perspective now than when I was a kid, because when I was a kid I saw all these other things that these kids had. I had a very different perspective on what my home was like than I do now and stuff. Overall, I could say my childhood was pretty good. Obviously everybody has ups and downs within their childhood and stuff like that, but I've had some good parents who loved me despite all the crap that I did and stuff like that. Played some sports. I did speech and debate in high school, which was, honestly the coolest thing that I've ever done. Some of the best people that I've ever met in my life came from speech and debate. Somebody who's worked in the White House, somebody who is a leading expert in AI and really pushing the envelope with the development of AI. He's world recognized. People who are in government elsewhere. There's some really, really good people. And so I was pretty fortunate to have a pretty good childhood. I look back at it now fondly. As a parent, knowing what I want to make sure my kids have, I know that I had a lot of those opportunities. My goal as a parent is to make sure that my kids have a, better childhood than I had, which is not a knock against my parents, but it means, what things can I provide them, more for what, where can I identify what are my kids, really wanting to invest their time, and how can I make that happen? So overall, good childhood. Cam, do you think it's possible a really good high school football team could beat the worst college football team? Oh, heck yeah, man. No, absolutely. Now, I would ask the question, though, because when you say college football team, I mean, you could be talking the super low divisions, in which case, absolutely. But no, I think it's possible. The real question is, can the best high school football team beat the worst pro football team? That's a deep one. Dask, oh, you asked another question. What's your favorite football game, and what was my most favorite series to do? Favorite football game, NCAA football 2014, because it was the last one. And the modes that they had in that game were fantastic. I loved coaching Carousel. I freaking wish they could bring something like that back. Because on the one hand, you know, it's like a my player for coaches, but you also get the opportunity to play as teams that, quite frankly, you would never play as any other way. So downloading the roster of the actual players was amazing. And I remember playing as Army and having the ACU, that digital camo. That was some of the coolest uniforms ever. And I had my style, which was the Maryland I, which is you have 3 behind the quarterback, and it's just a big power I, basically. And I would just run the ball non-stop. And I had some really, really cool wins. I think I beat, or maybe that was with UAB. I beat LSU. I beat a couple really, really big teams with that way, and that was super cool. And seeing what teams would be willing to pick you up, and where you would go, not really having a choice, but based off of what coaches got fired and what positions were open up to you. That was super cool. I miss that so much. So that was my favorite football game. Favorite series. Ooh, that is a tough one. So there's a few. Let me pull up my playlists real fast, and let me just kind of take a look at some of them. A lot of the ones that I really enjoyed doing, I didn't continue doing for too long, mostly because the view count that came with it wasn't what I had hoped it would be. And when you're doing YouTube, depending on what your goals are, as you kind of focus on your channel's growth, you're gonna have to do things sometimes for the sake of channel growth that you may not want to do. And that was probably a mistake of mine, that I made. I would have stuck with some stuff. The other thing was too is some of the series that I really enjoyed doing, I really wasn't that good at either, and so I don't feel like it made some good content. I always loved the college football ones. That was pretty fun. I loved NHL 13, Abu Schmuck, the my player. But see, the thing that I was doing with that is I don't know if I was just exploiting the game, just knowing you could run up to the net, make a quick stop, then come back and just do a quick shot from there. And getting a goal a lot of times. That was it's not gonna make good content because somebody get called out for it. I did like doing 30 wins with 30 teams because it was cool to be able to play as everybody's favorite baseball team or football team. If it was 32 wins, 32 teams. Nebraska dynasties, that was always cool. FIFA was fun. NBA 2K, my player, was super fun. Dang, I had a lot of good series that I actually enjoyed.
Yeah, we got one.
But again, a lot of this stuff became, kind of repetitive after a while. Oh, NASCAR. NASCAR was fun. And that's another one where I was super terrible.
Relay.
So here was
No runner, go home.
Here was the story there. I remember for NASCAR 14, you could make your own, for your car, you could just make whatever you wanted. And so I had a fake sponsor called the Sofa King. Say that really fast. Oh, there it is.
Come on, big guy. Come on,
It's not just cheap. It's Sofa King cheap. Say that fast. I don't think many people picked up on that one. Oh, my first Milsim
Hey, nobody
in
out
Arma
now.
3. That was awesome. There's a couple attempts coming back. Madden 17
Round it. Find the ball. Round it.
with Kwame Cheddars.
Shoot.
MLB The Show 16 with Ajax Booker. That's when I was really starting to feel it. Yeah, Kansas City franchise. NBA 2K. Anyway, I said way more than I think you were thinking, but college football was always my favorite. My players were always pretty sweet too, especially if they had a good story.
Now batting.
So yeah, that's those ones. man, there really were some good ones. Like coming back, that's been one of the things that has been kind of cool, is to see how people, you know, kind of look back on some of those series with like extreme fondness and stuff, and knowing that I was part of it. That was pretty cool. Okay, so where are we? We're 20 minutes in, so I've got about 10 minutes left. Let me get to some of these other questions. Okay, Noah McGreal, are you gonna start playing 2K? As much as I want to, no. I really want to pace myself with this, you know, kind of comeback. I really want to see how things go. I don't want to do too much like I did again. I really want to focus on 1 to 2 games. As much fun as I had with 2K, there are way better YouTubers that are out there than me, and even with like, you know, Madden and MLB The Show, I know there's, you know, YouTubers that are better than me out there, but I feel like when it comes to like NBA 2K, there is a major disparity. I just had fun. I enjoyed it. I loved making ridiculous players, but I don't think I'll be playing 2K. I'm sorry, man. Do you plan on playing any games like Red Dead or something like that? So if I were to do something like that, I wouldn't do it on this channel. I had some, like, again, going back and looking at the playlists, like I had some games that were not sports that I would play periodically, like Walking Dead. I also had, where is it? Oh yeah, I remember playing Minecraft a little bit with Tom, aka Tezadu. Tank Busting Tuesday, where I would play War Game, European Escalation. Is it? Yeah, Brothers in Arms Hell's Highway. That was fun to do. But, you know, those types of games that I would do that are not sports, you're going to find that on the War is Hell channel. Primarily Arma is what you'll see there. Which, honestly, the thing that I love about Arma is, you know, with the Milsim type of stuff, playing as a group, cooperatively, and trying to engage in real military missions, I think that makes some good story and some good content. So the thing is, Red Dead, or even really any other game that I wouldn't post on YouTube, I really don't have that much time to play. But, yeah. Sorry, man. I feel like I've let 2 people down in a row. Tyler Ayala, what gave you the itch to return to YouTube? So, I think a lot of it was, you know, as I said, people have posted about the fondness that they had for this channel. And there was definitely a lot of it for me, too. I enjoyed, you know, what I was posting on here for a long time. As I said, towards the end, I wasn't. But this was a big part of me, too, becoming the person that I am. And so I, you know, would check in periodically. I would see people post, hey, man, you know, this channel meant a lot to me. And just kind of knowing that it did, too. I wanted to take another stab, but I wanted to be smart about it. And I wanted to make sure that I did it right. And I also wanted to make sure I had fun. The thing is I know that the view count is not anywhere near where it used to be. When you look at a channel my size, the views that they have per video, I'm way lower than what I'm supposed to be. I, for the first time, am net positive when it comes to subscribers. So that's, you know, been kind of rough, but I know I've got to rebuild a lot of this. And for me, that's kind of a challenge that is, you know, makes me want to do this, is try and rebuild this a little bit more. And I'll admit, too, you know, potentially another avenue for revenue, just, you know, for fun stuff. But I do feel bad I left when I did. I feel like I could have done things a lot better, and learning what I have on the other YouTube channel and bringing that over here, I feel like I can be successful at this again, and I want to give it a stab. So that is the biggest reason why I want to come back. So, what was your favorite series on the channel? I kind of explained a lot of those. So sorry, Johnny Squad, that your question already got answered. Yo-Yo, how's the fam? Pretty good. Gosh, I'm trying to remember what was the last thing that I had mentioned to you guys before I left. But yeah, you know, I got 4 kids. They're all 2 years apart. And so they're about ready to turn 7, 5, 3, and 1. And I'm done. I'm not having any more kids. Don't worry. Wife's doing good. Mother-in-law, I remember, you know, cancer was going on. She beat that. Overall, you know, fam's pretty good. I love my family. I do have a good one. And EMT Recordings, what made you come back to this channel? Again, kind of explained it, you know. this was a big part of my life, and I want to see if I can come back and rebuild it somewhat to what it was before, and kind of maybe even make it better. So that, kind of leads me to the questions that I've got for you guys. So there's a lot of things that I have in my mind that I want to do on this channel. I'm an idea generating machine, which has its pros and cons, but I need your guys' help on how I go about, helping this channel grow. For example, Patreon is a really, really big way for channels to grow because it allows for monetary investment in various things. Like, for example, I would love to get to the point where I was able to hire somebody to do the editing for me. That is the most frustrating stuff, especially when it comes to like Madden. A lot of people don't understand. I'll play a game for an hour, but it'll take 2.5 hours just to do the editing. So I want to be able to get to the point where I can do the gameplay, pass it on to somebody else, get it back and everything. So what would you guys want to see, or what kind of things would make you want to invest in this channel for something like Patreon? Like, what would you guys want to see in return for your guys' investment? Also, just blank check, what do you guys want to see? The one caveat I will give is it can't be more, because I'm already pushing myself to the limits time-wise, and to be able to say, hey, start a new series here, may not be a realistic goal. So just kind of knowing the constraints that I've got a little bit more, what would you guys want to see? How can I improve? What do you like? What do you don't like? Just give your general feedback, and that would be a huge help. So those are the two biggest questions that I had. I'll probably have more just down the road, but I know I can ask you guys through Twitter posts, the Dunbar Snack Bar Discord, all that type of stuff. So anyway, thanks for watching, guys. I was glad I was able to get to everybody's questions. There's obviously more to come later on, so subscribe, hit the bell icon, all of that. Also, guys, you're really phenomenal. You are. Thanks so much for sticking with me as I'm trying to come back and everything too. It's because of you guys and your support that drew me back, and also what keeps me going. So thank you, everybody. All right, so that's going to be it here for this episode. Until next time, I hope you guys have a good one.